Did someone just poop on me? I literally felt my hand vibrate.
What's up, guys? It's the Lane family.
Oh, did you get scared, buddy? This is your daily dose of Ezra Lane.
Welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to be filming the birth story. I really wanted to give you guys a super in-depth video where I kind of explained everything that went on with the pregnancy, the labor, the delivery. If you guys haven't seen the labor and delivery vlog, it'll be down below for you guys to check out, so make sure you check that out. I just feel like in this video you'll get more of like the details, and I love to watch these videos, especially when I was pregnant, because I wanted to know exactly everyone's birth story, how they had birth, what's going on. And honestly, our story turned out completely different from anyone's that I watched. So
it's literally completely insane. It was literally
so many different things went on, so I really wanted to sit down. But before we get into this, I just want to show you guys my bag that I got from Teddy Blake. Yes, they did send me this, but I'm not getting paid to speak about this. So I absolutely love this bag. I get so many compliments. It's just so beautiful, such great quality. You guys definitely have to check out Teddy Blake. They are always having like a ton of sales, so make sure that you check them out. This is like so perfect because we just had a little boy, and it's like the most perfect baby blue. I'm obsessed. It comes in so many different other colors as well.
It's a great Christmas gift.
So make sure that you check out Teddy Blake. We're gonna jump into the labor story. I have things on my phone, so if I look down, it's just because I'm trying to remember everything, because it was a whole lot. The night basically started on November 14th. Let me just let you know, I'm only 34 weeks pregnant, so I shouldn't be even having this baby. His due date was Christmas.
You should still be pregnant, actually. It's
yeah,
so
I'd
crazy
still
to
be
think.
pregnant right now. So he is a preemie, and he's amazing. Oh my gosh, I can't. But anyways, oh, my boobs are hurting.
Because he was crying a little bit.
Yeah. So me and Babe were taking a nap. It's around 5 o'clock, and I wake up and like my underwear feels like a little wet. I'm like, what is this? I'm thinking maybe it's just extra, you know, stuff that comes out. What is this? I went to go use the bathroom, and I sit on the toilet and I go to pee, but before I even push to pee, like I feel a liquid trickle out of me. I'm like, what the hell was that? So I push to pee, and an actual pee comes out, and I'm like, completely different feeling. And it felt like it didn't come from my pee hole. So I was like, what the heck? What is this? And I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna go lay down again. I don't know. As soon as I lay down, I feel like another gush of water come out of me. And it's like not a lot for me to think, you know, it's my water breaking, and like it just seemed too early, you know? So we didn't want to just like assume it was that, but you know, I told my mom, I texted her, and I was like, what the heck, I have water. She's like, call your doctor. So I call the doctor, and he gets on the phone, and he's basically like, yeah, that sounds like your amniotic fluid is leaking. And I'm like, what? And he's like, go to the hospital now. I'm like, what? We have to go to the hospital right now? Like, I'm over here thinking this is not a big deal. Like, okay, whatever, we're gonna go to the hospital, nothing's gonna happen.
They'll just send us home, and they're like, thanks for wasting our time.
Yeah, literally. If you guys saw in the vlog, you guys saw I was just so nonchalant. I had no bad feelings, like no anxiety. I was like, yeah, this isn't happening. I didn't even pack my bag to go to the hospital. We just were like, yeah, we're just gonna go. Hi, Pookie. I was just like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. The only thing I set out was my lashes, just in case Bae did have to come home and grab my stuff, because like, I don't know, I don't know. I set out my lashes, that was it. Nothing else was prepared, no clothes. I had already had his baby like bag prepared, but not anything of mine. Then we were like, not even really rushing. We're like, yeah, it's whatever, no need, whatever.
Like, it was insane how calm we were. Like, we didn't expect anything out of this. We were just like, oh, it's whatever, we'll just go there, you know, they'll just tell us, yeah, you're fine, it's probably just a little bit of a leak, blah blah blah. You know, they'll have some medical, right, they'll have some medical term for it, and they're gonna be like, you can go back home. But then we get in the car and we start driving there, and then we get there, and I'm like waiting to check in. He has to go back and wait in the car because I had to get a coronavirus test, and if I came back negative, then he was allowed to come in, and he was the only one allowed in with me because of coronavirus. You guys know he couldn't come in. It was really tragic because, you know, at first I really needed someone with me for those first moments, but I knew he'd be able to come in later. While I'm standing there giving them my insurance, I feel a lot of water come out this time. Like, not a lot, but you know, enough to be like, whoa, I just wet myself a little bit. Yeah.
So then I'm thinking, yeah, this is definitely the amniotic fluid. Like, I'm leaking for sure. I get to the room and they have to do a swab test on me. So I have to do 2 swab tests to check. One is less accurate than the second one that they gave me, so you can't always go based off the first one. But the first one came back positive. positive. Then the second one came back like a slight positive, but normally with these tests, getting a slight positive is like impossible. So they were like, okay, that's interesting. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's what was she saying?
She's like, we don't know exactly, you know, what's going on really. We're not sure if, you know, if it is your water breaking or not.
So we're basically just thinking, okay, maybe this isn't gonna happen. I'm not gonna have the baby. But they did say they were just gonna keep me overnight because I had high blood pressure for some reason. So they're like, yeah, we'll just keep you and we'll run another test later. She's like, let me know if you just feel any more water come out. I was like, okay. So then I'm like laying there, we're thinking I'm about to fall asleep. And like as I'm laying there, like the most water I felt the whole time just gushes out of me. I'm like, oh my God, I just felt a lot of water. I'm talking to my mom on the phone because I called her and I'm just like, a lot came out. She's like, you need to tell those nurses right now that you need to be checked. That is your amniotic fluid. I don't know what they're trying to tell you that it's not. I'm like, okay. Because previously they had already given me an ultrasound earlier that day and they wanted to check how much fluid was still inside of me and they were like, oh, you have all your fluid. And I'm like, okay, obviously, because the leak just occurred like that day.
And it was
that
like
was
a small amount, so it's like, of course,
Yeah.
there's, you know, fluid's still gonna be in there.
It's gonna look like it's completely full. So we're just like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. When the water comes out, I'm like, you need to re-swab me because they swab when it's like super wet. So they put it in to see if it was the amniotic fluid and both came out completely positive, like no doubt, okay. So once that happens, they're telling me, okay, you're not allowed to leave the hospital until this baby comes because once they 100% know, oh, that's your amniotic fluid, you have to deliver the baby because there's a lot of complications that can happen with, you know, bacteria getting up there, the baby losing too much fluid, and it's like they're not gonna send you home. So they were like, an hour passed, she's like, yeah, we're gonna start inducing you on Pitocin. And I did not want this for my birth plan. Like, I really didn't want to be put on Pitocin. I heard bad things, like it's 10 times worse labor if you're on Pitocin, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like scared, but like
anything
I don't
induced, you know, like sucks, you know, because when the baby wants to come out on his own, he really wants to come out on his own. When
Yeah.
we're forcing him to come out, he's like, well, maybe I don't want to come out yet, but if you're telling me to, I guess I'll try.
So then the doctors checked me and I was like a fingertip dilated already. So
Like, he couldn't even put the whole finger in. It was just like literally the tip. So it was like less than a centimeter.
and he could feel Ezra inside. Like he felt the top of his head. So he's like, okay, let's put you on the Pitocin. They moved us to a different room for the Pitocin because like it was the actual delivery room where I would deliver the baby. And so I'm on the Pitocin. They started around 3 a.m. We had gotten there around 7 p.m. So we had been there for a while now. The thing is, a lot of this was like a huge waiting game. So I didn't even start feeling contractions until 8 a.m. That was like the first time that I was like, whoa, I think I feel a little pain. Okay. And so she told me that once I started feeling pain that she could put me on some pain medicine, and I was all for no pain. I was so scared. I told Matt, like, before we even get in there, I'm gonna be screaming, I want the epidural. Obviously it didn't go as planned because I didn't think I was having the baby, but they would have heard me screaming because I didn't want any pain. So she was putting me on the pain meds right away. I was on Dilaudid every few hours or something like that. Yeah, that was just supposed to help with the pain. So I was like chilling, and it also was to help me sleep because I was wide awake. I needed to get some sleep before pushing this baby out. I was like, I cannot push a baby out if I don't have sleep.
Oh, look at the little baby smile.
Did you? So every 30 minutes they upped the Pitocin by 2. So it starts, I don't know, at 0, I guess, and it goes to 20. 20 is the max that they can give you. Some women only need a little bit of Pitocin, some literally need the full 20 to, you know, start dilating their cervix.
What that's supposed to be doing is that's supposed to be dilating the cervix more and more as time goes on. So they kept upping her Pitocin, kept upping it until she got up to 20. Right?
So then once I got up to 20, they were like, okay, we're gonna let this run for a little bit. We're gonna wait till 4 p.m. the next day, they were saying.
Gonna see if the cervix dilated anymore.
Yeah, so we were basically just doing a whole waiting game. I got the epidural before that 4 p.m. came. I'm not sure exactly what time, it's kind of foggy. They gave me the epidural and it was nothing like I expected. Everyone was like, oh my god, it's so scary, but I was perfectly calm still. It felt a little weird when he was like moving it in, but like nothing too crazy, and I'm not too bad with like needles or anything, so I was like, I don't care. Pain, the worst pain is gonna be the birth itself, so I was making sure that I didn't like react to any pain of anything else, because I'm like thinking, okay, the contractions and the birth, that's gonna be the worst part. I'm not gonna freaking cry over an epidural when apparently the worst pain women can feel like it's coming for me. The worst that I did feel the contractions was nearing towards like 4 p.m., like towards the end, but it turns out the reason why I was feeling the contractions extra hard was because the epidural, when 4 p.m. finally came where they were gonna check my cervix this time to be like, okay, let's see, and I'm over here thinking, oh my gosh, wow, I'm about to be so much more dilated because I'm feeling the pain a lot more in my stomach right now. When they checked, I was literally 1 centimeter still.
Which is insane. Like, she was feeling all those contractions, literally barely one finger still fit inside, which is insane.
Which is because my epidural was wearing off and there wasn't like a lot of fluid left in the epidural, so I was wearing off and then suddenly it just stopped working. So when they told us this, I was just like, okay, we're just gonna do the C-section. We had literally been there for like 2 days now. We were so tired, and a lot of complications can come with the Pitocin constantly like forcing your uterus to contract, which could be you bleeding out because it will literally just give up and stop. So they didn't want that, and they didn't want any complications with the baby. So we just decided, you know what, we're just gonna do the C-section, right? Like,
Haley at this point was like, you know what? I just don't care. Just get this baby out of me. Literally. She was just like, I just can't deal with this anymore.
Fast, right after that. We're like, we're having this baby now. It's 4 p.m. and he was born at 5:26.
5:16, I believe.
What? No.
Swear?
That's the day he was born.
Oh, okay.
16.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We're terrible.
5:23.
5:23.
5:23, that's what it was, 100%.
Okay, 5:23 he was born, so you know, it was like an hour and a half and bam, we had the freaking baby.
Right.
So I was just so excited, and they got Matt all geared up. They had to re-give me the epidural.
So they gave her another epidural, you know, because the other one was wearing off, which this one didn't help as much either, right?
It didn't even work.
Yeah, so which is super strange. So they ended up having to put, like, right before the surgery, they had to give her something else on top of it, which is like, wow, this girl's like went through a whole lot of drugs in her system. They brought her over to the OR, right? And they get me all geared up, so you have to be in these like scrubs. I mean, from head to toe, your hair's got to be covered, body, you have to have like bootsies on to make sure, like, you know, your shoes weren't infected. I don't know. So I get there, you know, and like, put yourself in my shoes, right? If I'm this like covered with all my clothes are covered, my whole body's covered, everything. If I'm this covered, you would assume that they're really careful about anything you bring inside there, right? So I get in there, and then Haley asks me, where's the camera? I'm like, the camera? How can I bring a camera in here? That thing's not sterilized. Like, it's gonna be next to the operating room. What if something gets infected or something? She goes, oh, no, you can bring your camera. I'm just sitting there thinking, like, really? So I gotta be in all of this? And, you know, you can have the camera, whatever. So I am literally sprinting back into the room. They already cut her open at this point.
Yeah, so that's what I was about to get into. Right as Matt gets to the room, they like do the incision, and I can't feel anything. Like, I literally feel absolutely nothing, and Matt can't see anything, so luckily he didn't get to see me all pried open and nasty. Like, they just had cut me. I was like, wait, you guys already cut into me? And so like, Matt's getting the camera, they're like doing the cut and trying to get through in my stomach so that as soon as Matt walks in, they can pull the baby out. Well, Matt was taking forever, so they literally
because I was on the floor above. So I got to run all the way to the end of the hallway, and I was literally running. I grabbed the camera, and I come right back down, and they're like, oh, well, you got to change back into new scrubs. I'm like, oh my God.
They said that?
Oh, you didn't
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they made me change everything. And now I already have all my stuff on, so like literally taking it off almost took longer than it took to put on. So as soon as I put it on, I go back inside the room. Everybody is just standing. There's probably like 10.
Because right before he walked in, our doctor was like, yep, we have it opened up. We're just waiting for Matt now. So I'm like literally sitting here like, you're literally ruining the birth time of my son, because he would have been like, he would have been 1 minute earlier. And you know, the birth number, like the time that you're born changes everything in your chart. So I'm just like, what's going on? Is this even real? And literally Matt walks in, they're like, okay, let's pull out the baby now.
Well, like when I'm telling you, all 10 of the doctors and nurses are all like in a line, just standing there, like as soon as
we're ready.
But it's like if you walk in late to like a meeting and everybody's just turning around and staring at you like, oh, finally you showed up.
They had a nurse like run out there to go grab him. Like it was serious. She was like, I'm ready. Like, this baby's ready to come out, and Matt's nowhere.
As soon as I walk in, literally they look at me, they're like, okay, that's fine, let's do this. Maybe, what, 2-3 minutes later, baby's out.
This is my first reaction. So like, apparently they've obviously put the baby up for Matt to look at, and Matt just looks like,
So
and he has the camera in his hand, and when he looks at him, he literally looked at the child like, is that my child? Like, that's what it looked like to me, and I'm over here like, what
It was the strangest moment I can't even explain it. As soon as they put him out, first off, he's got like all the blood and all like the juices on him, whatever you want to call those, the fluids, and I'm just like, oh, pictures, yeah, like literally, that was my exact reaction.
Literally, I saw him go like this.
Yeah.
Like, start taking the pictures. I was like, oh, okay, so it's good. Everything's okay. Like, he scared me when he first stared at him because I'm like, is something wrong with him? Like, why are you looking at him like that?
Yeah, and then I was just super scared. Like, I was just like, the initial reaction was like, that's just not what I was expecting, you know? So then when we took the pictures and we looked back at the pictures, that was even more frightening. Let me tell you.
Insert a picture. Like, he looks like a little gremlin.
So then Haley's laying there on the... So Haley's laying there on the hospital bed, right? She obviously can't move. All right, and so she just like got him showed for literally 1 second, and then he stopped. So at first he let out like a little cry, which is a good sign that he's breathing, but then he stopped. So then they quickly had to put him on the ventilator, get him breathing. Obviously he's premature, so that part of his brain doesn't know how to breathe yet. So, you know, I walk over to where the nurses are and they're like helping him out, and they're just like, it's another, you know, day on the job. They're like, oh yeah, he's fine, you know, like, oh, this and that, put that there, do this, do that. And they're like having side conversations and, you know, while doing it. I'm just like, wow, you guys must be really good at this if you're just, you know, if you're this comfortable. And Haley's just over there like, how's he doing? How's he doing?
I'm just crying like, oh, he looked so cute for the 3 seconds I saw him, and then they instantly take him out of the room and they're like, we gotta take him. And I'm like, babe, go follow them, just so like no one steals her child. And like, I'm like, you better be taking pictures of him so we know that that's my child. And so then, I mean, there's no doubt. But anyway.
Seriously.
I mean, his child at least. So they took me into the recovery room, and I literally was in there for like 40 minutes without Matt, and like they literally wouldn't send him down. I'm like, can I please see him? Like, they just took my baby from me. It was so heartbreaking. I was just crying in that room, in the recovery room, because I was just like, they just took my baby. I've only seen him for 3 seconds. Like, I was so overwhelmed. You don't understand how heartbreaking it is for someone to just take your baby away and just be like, okay, bye. You literally saw him for 3 seconds. Didn't even get to do like skin to skin like I wanted, or didn't get to hold him, so they had to stitch me up and put me in a recovery room to make sure I was okay, and like monitor me, and I'm over here like, I don't want to be monitored, send me to my baby. Like, that's what I wanted. But he got to be with him. She
felt super lonely, and that's when, like, at one point I was just, you know, with the baby, and they're just like doing all these things on him, so I'm just trying to get pictures, doing all these things, and then, you know, at one point I'm just like, you know, starting to think about Haley more and more, and I'm just like, how is she doing, you know, how's everything? And she goes, oh, she's fine, she's in the room. They're like, well, do you want to go see her? I'm like, oh, yeah, of course, you know, I've been with the baby, he's fine, he's doing okay, and I'm sure Haley's probably losing her mind right now, so I was like, I need to go see her. And as soon as I walk into the room, Haley literally sent a nurse to go get me because she's like, I feel so lonely. And I was like, oh my god, that's perfect timing.
I asked for you multiple times.
Really?
Like, they literally, she was like, I'll do it in a second, I just have to finish up your, like, you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, please, where is he? And then I started crying more, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go make sure nurse brings him down. And I'm like, it's taking forever, I'm so lonely.
So then I went down, and I was just with Haley, and I was just helping her through her moments. But it was just such a beautiful thing because we were both just really happy. We got everything done. The baby was healthy. You know, Haley was feeling good. She even like sent me out to go get her favorite food, which is Portillo's. She wanted an Italian beef.
Right away. I was like, when do I get to eat? Like, I'm starving. They didn't let me eat that whole time. I forgot to mention that. I was like starved.
Oh yeah, that's another big
hours.
thing. She could not eat, which is insane. But shout out to that hospital because they had apple juices on deck. And I'm telling you,
literally binged.
Overdosed on apple juice. Like all I drank there was apple juice.
After I gave birth, literally we were in the room just drinking apple juice all
living
the
life,
time.
baby.
Ordering food, waiting for our baby to get good. And so that was basically the birth story. And then, you know, obviously you had to stay in the hospital. And if you guys haven't checked it out, our 24 hours with our newborn, the first 24 hours is on our channel, which will also be down below for you guys to watch. Check that out because then you'll really get to see like what happened after the birth. But yeah, that was our birth story. It was quite intense. I didn't go through a lot of the pain that a lot of women go through, but kudos to all those women. And I honestly feel so lucky I didn't because like my vagina's not in pain, nothing down there. The C-section
and that scar is literally like, I can barely see it. It's a little swollen at the moment, but if it wasn't swollen, I could not even see the incision.
we love you guys so much, Lane family.
And we're so excited to like take you on this journey with us, and you can see our baby grow and all the emotions, all the, you know, all the laughs and all the love that we'll show him and he'll show us. We can't wait for you to all see it. But most of all, we can't wait for Ezra to see this in a couple years. So,
yeah, so amazing.
We love you, Lane family. Till the next video.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Bye.